Yes, hello. This is Katerega Grace, a student of Bhutan, doing BIST, and I'm in my first year, second sem. This is an exam. This is a test. Question, test 2. Question that was asked to us to do to provide, which was saying using the knowledge that we have acquired in the course, we describe how we guide mass investments through the process of creating and managing an enterprise. So the advice I'm going to give is to help massive enterprises manage and run the enterprise. So remember, massive investments is according to the question, it is a domestic tourism company. So it does deal in tourism. So, and this is how I advise massive investments company. So first and foremost, I'd advise the company to first of all identify the problem. Because we would have started by getting the company name, but then you already know the company name, which is Massive Investments. So after knowing the company name, I will need to identify the problem. The problems. With identifying the problems, we need to identify the existing problems in the field of tourism. So because you cannot really start a business without knowing what you're going to solve. So as an advisor, I'd advise mass investments first and foremost to identify the existing problems in the domestic tourism sector. For example, when you look at currently we've been facing with COVID. So if mass investments is to run is to start a tourism business in Uganda, a country that has been affected with COVID. So we need to realize how to overcome the challenges that we have to face, or that the company is to face as it is running. So first and foremost, I'd advise them to do a study, or what I'd call to identify the challenges within the domestic tourism sector. And then after identifying the problem, I'll then advise them to come up with a business plan. So with a business plan, they need to come up with the ways how they are to run the business, the costs, how they are to meet the costs, how they are to do the recruitment of labor, to how they are to meet the factors of production, if they are to do the business, the things that they need to run the business, the tourism business, vans, labor, the capital, sources of capital, and all that. So I'd advise them secondly to do, after doing the study, or after identifying the problems in the domestic tourism sector, I'll then advise them to develop a business plan, how they are to run the business, how they are to get the money to run this company, sources of capital, who they are going to use, this organizational structure, who's to do what, the equipment to use, with tools, the vans, do market surveys and research and all that. And then the customers, where they are to get their potential customers from. Are they only going to deal with Ugandans, or they are also going to deal with foreign tourists from outside the country? Then from there, we look at the resourcing, how they are to get their resources. For example, the money that is going to run the company. How are they going to collect? How are they going to solicit the money? How are they going to collect the money, get the money that is going to help them run? Not only money, because resources are really wide. They are the labor resource, they are the human resources, financial resources, and all that. So I'd also advise them to look at the factor of resources, how they are to get people that are going to work with them, how they are going to get the finances. So from there, we'll also look at the management, how they are to manage. I'd advise them to come up with an organizational structure. In other words, the management plan, who's to do what. For example, I'd advise them to come up with an organizational structure or a management structure, right from the top level management to the low level management, and then the field workers. So they'll also advise them to look to consider coming up with a management structure. Then from there, after getting all these basic requirements, because these are the factors that will foster them to run this tourism company. So I'd also advise, after coming up with identifying the problem, then coming up with a business plan, and also resourcing, coming up with resources, identifying resources. So and also coming up with an organizational structure. Then we also look at how to coming up with how to incur money into this business, or in other words, how to make profit out of this business. After identifying who is to do what, after coming up with doing the market survey, getting the workers, all that, then we come up with and advise them to come up with ways of how to harvest money. For example, from mass investments can decide to use, if they were only aiming at doing what you call domestic tourism, I'd advise them to also implement I'd advise them to also on their list add on the foreign tourists, because remember their main focus is on the domestic local tourists, or doing engaging mainly the local tourists, people from within the country. So I'd advise them to also on their list of packages add on foreign tourists. They can come up with a website where people can book, and also on this website they can also show what they do, places that they can take people to tour, and also give a description of their services, what they do, what they offer, basically. So that way they can increase their earnings, not only focusing on the local currency but also foreign currency. So basically that's what I'd advise must see domestic company to do. Thank you.